this madness that's been going on. It's been going on like worldwide with like the police brutality and just craziness. This story came across Newstoter today, and I tweeted it out. And I might even put the link in the I got this one of my bookmarks. I might even put the link up in the actual in the jumbotron. And just when I saw it, caught me. Yeah, this dude, this husband he was drowning, and the police refused to help. The wife was going to help, and they told her if she helped that they were going to detain her. It was crazy. It was posted by the Atlanta Black Star, and it was, go ahead and read it. It says, the title is He's Drowning Right in Front of You. Body cam footage shows Arizona cops standing by as man drowns. You there, Tyler? What's good, Ray?
What's going on, brother? How you doing tonight?
All as well as usual, my brother. Bless. Appreciate you. Hey, Todd, I don't know if you are in the Matrix, brother, or you got a phone. You probably think you got a phone call. That could be what it is. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I had my mic muted. Oh, yeah. Okay. All good, brother. All good, for sure. Go ahead. Continue on, though. Start over. Okay, yeah. Let me go ahead and start over, man. I had my mic muted, y'all, so excuse me on that. I'm talking and my mic was muted. But yeah, this story here is about, this article is about, you had a man that was drowning right in front of the police, and the police refused to help him. And when the wife talked about even trying to help him, they told her that she tries to help, that they were going to detain her. The story was published by the Atlantic Black Star. Okay, and it says the title is He's Drowning Right in Front of You. Body cam footage shows Arizona cops standing by as a man drowns, threatening to detain his wife as she pleads for their help. 3 Tempe, Arizona police officers stood by and watched a man drown as he pleaded with them for help, police transcripts show. Authorities say they responded to a report of domestic violence outside the Tempe Center for the Arts after 5 a.m. on May 28th. They questioned Sean Beacons and a woman who identified herself as his wife. Body-worn camera footage shows Beacons slowly climbing into Tempe Town Lake in the middle of the conversation with officers. Officials said he swam 30 to 40 yards before showing signs of distress. The body camera footage does not show the entire incident due to the sensitive nature of the remaining portion of the recording, but officials released a transcript detailing the reminder of the incident instead. He soon went under and did not resurface, according to a statement from Tempe Police Department. None of the officers jumped in to save Beacons, and when the woman begged them to intervene, they threatened to detain her, transcript show. I'm going to drown, Beacons said. No, you're not, the officer identified as Officer Number 2 said. At least go to the pylon and hold on, Officer 1 said. I can't, Beacons said. Okay, I'm not jumping in after you, Officer 1 said. Please help me, Beacons said. Please, please, please. Beacons told officers he was drowning 3 times and asked for help 2 times, the transcript shows. Officials later said in a statement the officers told Beacons that his partner and they were running their names to check for warrants. Both the woman and Beacons denied that a physical altercation had occurred. Officials said neither of them was being detained for any offense. The footage does not show officers informing either of them of a warrant check. That check had not yet been completed when Beacons decided to slowly climb over a 4-foot metal fence and enter water, officials said in a statement. The Arizona Republic reports that the police said they later discovered Beacons had 3 outstanding warrants. The officers had been placed on non-disciplinary paid administrative leave pending an investigation, as is customary in critical incidents, officials said. A downtown Tempe authority ambassador had reported the disturbance between the couple, which drew officers to the location near Elmore pedestrian bridge. The woman, who identified herself as Susan Smith, told officers that she had conversating issues with her husband when they initially arrived. She added that the conversation did get loud at some point. Beacons told the officers that they lived on the grounds outside the center. The officers joked with the man and they had a casual conversation before he went over the fence. I have liver problems, Beacons said. I heard skinny jeans make liver problems worse, one of the officers said. Beacons sat on a concrete barrier for about 10 seconds before speed walking into the water. What are you doing, my friend? One officer asked. I'm going for a swim. I'm free to go right, dick his ass. You can't swim the lake, man, another officer said. As a woman begged the officers to save the black man's life, one officer announced Beacons went under the water 30 seconds ago and had not resurfaced. Reports show that the Tempe Fire Medical Rescue pulled his body from the water around 11:30 a.m. Smith says she suffers from severe anxiety. Beacons was the only family she had left. She tried to jump over the railing at one point, the transcript shows. I'm just distraught because he's drowning right in front of you. You won't help, she said. Ray, I'll go ahead and let you on. So you got your hand up, so you go ahead and unmute your mic.
What's going on, fam? I just wanted to point out that that same place, you say, is it pronounced Tempe?
Yeah, Tempe, Arizona.
Okay, in Tempe, Arizona, I sent it to you and DJ. In Tempe, Arizona, a dog is in need of a forever home after almost drowning in a canal. Officials with the Tempe Police Department said officials with the help of civilians were able to rescue a dog who was drowning in the canal. So they let a black man drown, but they trying to get a home for this dog. They jumped in to save a dog. I just wanted all the family to hear that.
But not only that, Ray, but they told a woman, I don't know if she was his legal wife or whatever. It appears like they were almost homeless because they were living on the grounds. But they told the woman that, hey, if you try to help them, that we're going to detain you as well. So not only that, they didn't offer the man any help. Straight up told him they wasn't going to go in. Told the woman, if you assist, basically you'll be arrested. So I don't know what in the hell now. We see people going around committing mass killings here and being taken alive a lot of times, most of them white. But here you got this guy out here in the actual water drowning, and you don't even go out there and help. And this is kind of cowardice, like the same way we just had at that school shooting, where the cops were too afraid to do anything. So this is the craziest thing I heard. Like the day when I saw this, I'm like, well, this has got to be something that we can discuss tonight in the Twitter space here. It was just mind blowing.
That is crazy. It's funny you bring that up, and I'm just going to touch on this very quickly and get back on topic. Someone brought up, what if they try to ban guns? Someone said, so who was going to do it? The police that were too afraid to go into the elementary schools, or the military that couldn't secure Afghanistan after 2 decades?
Yeah, I mean, and my thing is like you go through the police academy and this and that. I'm believing that when you become a cop, you're supposed to take the oath that you're willing to die for civilians in order to secure their safety. So it seems like now these cops are almost kind of thinking with a me first type attitude that hey, I'm going to worry about making it out here alive, and then if I can help somebody, I'll do it. And you had 3 cops on the scene, even though I know we only talked about those 2, and not a one of them did a thing. Not a one of them tried to do a thing. So, and the woman, like I say, the woman who was willing to go in there and risk her life was told that hey, if you try to come in here, if you try to help, then you're gonna be, you're gonna be arrested or whatever. And also, I don't know if you guys heard the other story. You had this story where you had this what was it? You had this white cop because that was also an article that I published. I meant to print it up, but it was story where you had the white cop. He was dating a black lady, and I believe he killed a black lady. Now he's got to pay a settlement to her kids. Man, it just whacked out, bizarre, just crazy stuff. Go ahead, Ray.
I just wanted to point out to the family, and I'm glad you brought it up. I don't think a lot of people know this, but like you said, you say that they're supposed to defend, and say they're going to defend our lives, right? Well, in all reality, police do not have a duty to protect us. Because when that Parkland shooting happened at Stonewall Douglas High in Parkland, some students claim, the local government were at fault because they're supposed to protect the students. But come to find out, the police have no constitutional duty to protect students who are not in custody.
See, that's something you just taught me because I didn't know that. I thought that like I said, I thought that they were supposed to go in there and go out on their shield and lay their lives down for civilians, for you and me or whatever. And that came, but that was just part of the job. That's part of the duty. That's part of the description. And like I said, that's not even the case. You see them, these police just straight up bitching up now. Like,
I want to read this to you, brother.
Go ahead and read it.
It says, neither the Constitution nor state law imposes a general duty upon police officers or other government officials to protect individual persons from harm, even when they know the harm will occur, said Darren L. Hutchinson, a professor and associate dean with the University of Florida Law School. Police can watch someone attack you, refuse to intervene, and not violate the Constitution. The Supreme Court has repeatedly held that the government has only a duty to protect persons who are in custody.
Yeah, that's crazy, Ray, and I did know that too. As far as police don't, they don't have to protect. You know what I mean? A lot of our folks
sorry, my
don't
mic
know
went
that.
out. Were y'all able to hear everything I said? My mic went out.
Okay, yeah, I was able to hear you.
Yeah, we heard you, Ray. You know what I'm saying? We heard everything. You know what I mean? But yeah, I was just saying that's real sad. You know what I mean? That a lot of our people don't know that the police don't have to protect you. You know what I mean? Even though they say on a badge and shield to protect and serve. So it's like, what the hell? And then you could see. I love the comparison you did of the dog and the human knowledge.
Yeah, I say that to you so you put that up so everyone can see it. And it's the same town, Temple, Arizona, the same exact town.
Yeah. Now see, it takes a lot of work, unfortunately, to post it back. That's why I say tweet it out and then tag me in the tweet. You see what I'm saying? That way I'll put it in the jumbotron like that. You see what I'm saying? But being that you're a speaker, you could just tweet it out as a regular tweet, the article, and then once you go to share it, the Newstoter space will be right there at the top at the share. But yeah, send it. But I'm going to try to look for it and put it in the jumbotron for sure, bro.
B1 UK, I saw you had your hand up. You got if you want to say something, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Hi. About the police, they were. It seems like because we're getting a lot of cases of race soldiers, coming over and brutalizing and killing in this country and here in the UK and Britain. It seems like to me they're trying to expose themselves for who they really are now. The race soldiers. Personally, me, I never really thought they were there to help anyone, not even themselves. To just detain us. I just want to say it just seems to me like everything's, the streets are getting hot now, and everything's tightening up, and people just they're really getting on code now, everywhere. That's what it seems like to me. Anyway, that's what I just want to say for right now. That's all I want to say for right now.
I want to ask you a quick question, B1 UK. How is the police brutality over there in the UK compared to America? Because, we get our behinds kicked over here quite often, and I know we're only 13, 14% of the population, and I would figure that you guys may be even less over there. How is the police brutality over there in the UK in terms of the treatment of black people? If you don't mind answering.
I want. It's obviously not as rampant or as crazy as it is over there in the US, but it seems more. It seems more organized because most of the time it'll be through. It won't just be through people just the race soldiers just coming up to you or whatever. They usually try to find a way to check you. They'll start checking you for weapons on the streets. They'll check you for anything really. And I've seen a lot of videos as well. They don't come in one person or two people. They usually attack us in groups. they usually like to hold us down in groups a lot, and then overpower us over there. But it's I don't think it hasn't been this crazy. Like I've been looking at the history over here in the UK of police brutality against us, and it hasn't really been this is as crazy as it's gotten, I'd say.
Thank you. Appreciate that. I always wondered the experience of Black people in Europe. How do they deal with white supremacy? Considering you're in the actual place that a lot of the white supremacy actually originated from. Even though America, we perfected it and we took it to a level that's never been seen before. But the initial, when you think of the slave trade and you think of colonization, and you think of just some of the just all out just racist views of Black people that were formed in the 16th and 17th century, Europe would be the originator of that. So I just always wondered how Black people fared over there, and because we always got we kind of got different views of it. It seemed like they tried to make it seem like that you can go to Europe as a Black person and live a better life and be treated than you could in America. At least that's what they say about certain places like France and some of these other places. So I always just want a perspective of how Black people dealt with certain issues in the UK and how were they treated there and everything else, because it always just seemed pretty strange to me that like I say, that it was pretty much the originator of just all out racism and whatnot. So I just want to know exactly how things went there. Like how was things in the UK?
Did you say I can speak now?
Yeah, you can go ahead and speak. We're going to let her speak, and then you go.
I wanted to ask, is it B1 UK? I know when I went to England, the racism level from talking to the Black folks there, I also did a video on it, but their racism level seemed to be the same as ours, but I don't know about the police contact type thing, but I know the racism is really out of control. When we went there, we were stopping there on our way to Uganda. My sister is a boxing manager, and so we were there meeting with her lawyers. And so they tried to show us the town, taking us out, et cetera, et cetera. As we went from pub to pub and got drunker and drunker, they started trying to use that shit, talking to my husband and stuff. And I had to go off because their racism is different, but it's still racism.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously it's still racism. It's not as high, but as it is over there in America. But they'll find any sort of way to check you. I saw this one video of this brother I shared on my on my Twitter today, and he was just handing out some weed to smoke to his friend, and they had like at least 10 officers on him. I don't think this was in London. I think it might have been in by the sound of the brother's accent, it might have been in Birmingham. That's where my family comes from. It's just it's more. It's just so much more coward.
Independent workers.
Sorry, we're saying.
Yeah, I know a lot of the Africans there are independent workers. I said that I know that a lot of the Africans there are independent workers. Like the guy that I videotaped and we talked about racism, had a long discussion about it. He picked us up from the airport, and he says that a lot of times they put them in the less desirable places to be able to pick up passengers, et cetera, like controlling their money, their income.
Oh yeah, definitely. They always put us in the worst positions in when it comes to careers in general in the UK. My family, we have like a long bloodline of people who who work in healthcare. They usually put us in healthcare, working in hospitals and such, which I think is just really messed up, because at the same time they got a little medical apartheid going on, mainly over there in England. I'm not in England right now. I'm in North Wales, because I was born and raised here. But yeah, it's they usually they give us the most degrading jobs, and they usually get us to work and look after their own people and that. So yeah. Anyway.
BK, you want did your people migrate from maybe Jamaica over there to the UK, or?
My granddad originated here from Zimbabwe in the early 70s.
Okay. Just thank you. I appreciate you sharing that with us. Truth, did you have something else you want to ask, or go ahead and unmute your mic, Ray? I'm gonna get back to you.
Just wanted to talk on what he was saying about the healthcare there. I noticed that while we were there, my sister ended up getting food poisoning. I like the fact that the healthcare is free there, but we ran into some of the most racist people inside that hospital when she was getting help for the food poisoning.
Wow. That's crazy. It's crazy. They put us in they put us in all these positions and that, but how do they treat you? How do they treat you about your food poisoning? About your sister's food poisoning?
Well, it kind of reminded me of the healthcare issue we have over here, as far as that's why all my doctors, from my dentist on, are black. I don't like dealing with white doctors because there's the racist element that's involved there, and they already have a what's the word I want to use? They already have a agenda as far as when you go in there with some kind of pain. Like, for instance, I had my mind is slipping because I'm trying to cook too, but I had kidney stone. And if anybody knows, that's severe pain. And they say for a man, that's almost like having a baby. But the pain was so severe, and they acted like I was trying to come in and get some drugs. But they in the nursing school manual, they have this thing where they list pain levels, and they say that black people will exaggerate their pain to try to get painkillers, et cetera, et cetera. And so that's a two-edged sword, which is good, because I think with the epidemic of the meth and all that kind of stuff, the pain pills and blah blah blah, it kind of missed us because they weren't prescribing anything for our pain because they didn't care about it.
Yeah, that's insane, because I remember my father having he had kidney stones at one point. Nothing. I don't remember anything really bad happening to him over there. I think because over here in North Wales, the situation is a lot more different. They don't have really less of a push on black people over here, because there's less black people over here than you find in England and in the big cities. And that I'm from the country myself, and they want to. My dad ended up being fine, but he was, he didn't find it a pleasant experience, because they were stalling a bit on the treatment, and I didn't get to see him for quite some time because of that. But yeah, I guess it just works off in different places. It depends on like the population of black people in certain places that they'll handle you differently. But in these hospitals, they don't really have a system against it yet, until eventually more black people from the cities are going to get pushed into the country because of, gentrification, and that's going to happen eventually.
I appreciate you sharing that information with us. Ray, you go ahead. And I had another article that I want to talk about this man who was defenseless, a detainee that was killed in North Carolina, how his family received a $3 million settlement. But go ahead and unmute your mic.
Just wanted to share this with the family real quick, so everyone, just so everyone can have the information. There have been 2 cases: the Shaney versus Winnebago and the town of Castle Rock, Colorado versus Gonzalez. In both cases, the Supreme Court has ruled that police agencies are not required to provide protection for citizens. In other words, this is according to the Supreme Court, police are well within their rights to pick and choose when to intervene to protect the lives and property of others, even when a threat is apparent.
Yeah, like I say, up until this point, up until you actually said that, man, like I say, what's the motto? Protect and serve. So I always, he just always had that idea, at least that they were supposed to go ahead and they were supposed to go ahead and risk their lives, because that's what we always was told, that police, they put their lives on the line for you every day. They put their lives on the line for you every day. So yeah, I guess we learned something a little bit different. I want to share this article with you guys real quick, if you don't mind. This is also from the Atlanta Black Star. The title of it is "An Unarmed Defenseless Detainee. Family of man who died after being hogtied in North Carolina jail to receive $3 million settlement. A North Carolina county and its sheriff's office have agreed to pay $3 million to the family of a black man that was killed in the county jail. The agreement comes almost 2 months after a grand jury failed to indict corrections officer for John Neville's December 2019 death and pinned charges on a jail nurse. Neville, 56, died 2 days after he was restrained by a group of guards in the prone position. The controversial move was used during the in-custody death of George Floyd. Both men told officers that they could not breathe. The county sheriff has since banned the prone restraint. While the family hoped this could have settled without litigation, we want to thank the county for their part in trying to do what justice requires, an attorney for Neville's son, Richard Kyson, said in a statement. Neville died of a brain injury caused by positional and compressional asphyxiation that led to a heart attack and brain injury. The medical examiner's report shows. Video footage shows Neville was on his stomach with his arms behind his back and his legs up to his wrists. The guards only flipped the man over after realizing that he was unconscious. Neville was restrained on his stomach for a total of 19 minutes before the nurse, Michelle Huggins, tried to resuscitate him. Neville's family sued the detention officers, the nurse, and the county, and WellPath LLC, the jail's medical service provider, for damages in September 2021. The wrongful death suit alleges the defendants caused his death by hog-tying him and ignoring his pleas for help. Not only was the use of prone restraint on an unarmed, defenseless detainee who was experiencing a medical emergency an entirely unreasonable use of force, but the detention officers and nurse failed to assist Mr. Neville altogether to recognize the seriousness of his condition, the complaint said. Neville had reportedly fallen off his bunk in a seizure-like state while being held for a pending assault charge. The nurse had found it difficult to take his blood pressure, so she called the guards for assistance. 5 guards restrained Neville in another room where they had to cut off his handcuffs. I can't breathe, Neville said a dozen times as a guard restrained him on the guard. You're breathing because you're talking, you're yelling, you're moving, the guard responded. Huggins and WellPath had asked the judge to put their civil court proceeding on hold while the criminal case against the nurse plays out in criminal court. Huggins was indicted for involuntary manslaughter in April. Authorities and other county officials did not publicly announce Neville's death in December 2019 and only spoke about it after local papers and the News Observer asked the judge to release the footage. The settlement agreement reached on May 25th resulted from mediation. Neville's children will receive the money, the award, as beneficiaries of his estate. It also dismisses any claims against the sheriffs, his office, jail officials, or the county. So basically, they're getting the money, but nobody's going to be held accountable. The sheriff's office and all of the people that was involved with it, except for the nurse, she's the only one that they're looking at really prosecute. Go ahead, Ray.
I just wanted to add to that. They had that brother prone and they had him handcuffed for 17 minutes and 22 seconds, and he pleaded for his life. I want to say saying he couldn't breathe 26 times, and they still ignored it.
Yeah, and you see the way they set these they set the paperwork up. Now, yeah, he got the $3 million, but the actual jail, the county, and the correction officers, they get off scot-free without any admission of guilt. So, and the only one they're going to put the blame on is the nurse. So if the nurse was responsible, I would think damn well that the actual 5 guards that was holding him down and telling him that he could breathe when he couldn't breathe would have even more responsibility in the death. But for whatever reason, I don't understand that logic at all. How they're able to switch it around on her and not on the other people. So it's ridiculous. It's just another thing of police brutality. And this was in a jail. This was in a jailhouse. So this guy, he was in the county jail, not a prison, but he was in a county jail and he got killed. And I'm sure that money will help his children, but for the fact of the matter is that they're without a father now. That $3 million can't replace the loss of their father, and it's another situation where, as Black people, we may get a settlement, but we don't get any justice for the situation. So it's just ridiculous. Truth, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Hey, Truth, before you go, hold on a second. Hey, Carter, do you see me trying to come up again in the chat?
No, I didn't know you were trying to come back up.
No. I am in the space with you now, but I'm trying to work off another phone so that way I can just keep the recording. But go ahead, just do your thing, Truth. Go ahead, Mom.
No, you go ahead and go first. Mine is just wasn't. Go ahead, you go first.
No. I don't have anything to say. I'm the technician over here for Newstoter, so I'm just doing something technical. That's all. But go ahead. How you doing, by the way?
Oh, I was just. Pardon?
No, I was saying, how you doing, by the way?
I'm well, and yourself?
For sure. Go ahead, do your thing. We over here.
No, I just wanted to ask, if I'm not mistaken, the nurse's name sounded ethnic. What was her name?
I think it was Huggins, almost Huggins. I think she's. I think it maybe just with the way I was pronouncing it, but it's like Huggins almost. Not quite Huggins, but Huggins. They're in North Carolina. Yeah, I don't know if it was really an ethnic thing.
No, because I'm just saying you.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just that may have just.
When you said the nurse probably got blamed, and then when I heard her name, I said, oh, okay, that sounds a little ethnic, but okay, my bad.
I think they're just trying to use a nurse as a scapegoat, unfortunately.
Right.
Like I said, if the nurse can get charged, and they can get charged just as well, too. So, I don't know, like, lately, man, we've been seeing some crazy stuff here in the news that's been going on lately. Like, I mean, you having all kind of stuff. I think even in Brazil, they had a man handcuffed. They let off a damn grenade in the car, and he ended up dying. It was a Black dude. Like, so you just seen this police brutality worldwide just happening, just crazy incidents, just crazy stuff. Go ahead, Ray.
I just wanted to say, brother, there's really nothing to be confused about. As our elders, Francis Cress Welsing and Nilla Phillip told us, if you do not understand racism, what it is and how it works, everything you think you do understand is only going to confuse you.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And like I said, have you seen a case too. And like I said, I wish I had printed up, but you had the case where you had the black woman that was dating a white guy, and he ended up killing her. And now they're talking about, I think, some kind of settlement that her children would inherit or whatever. And I'm just like, why? He was I think he was an ex police officer, and he ended up killing her. And now it just, I published that. You know, it was a couple of articles that just, some of these articles are just coming around, man. Like, it's just, I mean, it's crazy. Every day on Newstoter, I'm seeing something about somebody unarmed getting killed, or the police, as soon as they come out on the scene, they don't ask any questions. They fire and they blast and they shooting people like that. Now, what are we doing in terms of the qualified immunity? Where does that stand at? Does anybody know? Is that picking up any traction? Because you don't really hear much about it. We know they're not going to do any to fund the police. And I know Joe Biden is actually talking about giving the police a bigger increase, talking about more money for training and whatnot. I mean, I don't know how much more training you need. I'm not exactly sure how long you have to go to the police academy, but I don't know how much more training is going to help them in terms of how they view certain people in this country. Certain people they view in this country as a threat and as thugs and as criminals. So they're not too apt to really, whether they take them dead or alive, pretty much is how they feel. So I'm just a little bit does anybody know what a qualified immunity stands at this point right now? Because, like I say, it's not something that I really hear politicians and the Democrats, especially. You thought it was something with you had the uprising in 2020 with George Floyd and whatnot. You thought that was something that they would go ahead and champion, but it seemed like they kind of tried to walk it back and walk it back. And I know I heard people say, well, the House passed this and that, but we're waiting on the Senate approval. But you rarely ever hear any of these politicians talking about holding the police accountable. They'll say something like reform, but what exactly is reform? When you ask them what is police reform, it always gets back to like training. And I'm just trying to wonder how much more budget can you get a police to go ahead and still execute people? Go ahead, Ray.
No, you actually just took the point I was just gonna say. When they talk about reform, all that is give us more money to not be racist.
Yeah, and I mean, it hasn't helped any. The police are already militarized. They now I know one time people were saying that it would help to have officers in black neighborhoods that look like them, and I agree with that because if you go into Chinatown and you go in some of these other places, you're gonna see officers that look more and more like you and stuff. But hey, um, go ahead, BK.
I know you finish what you're going to say. I'll say something when you're done.
Officers look like you, but at the same time, we're hearing that a lot of times that some of these police officers are being punished because they're not following the code. They're not staying on the code of what these other police officers do. And they're not going, some of them are not silent about the abuse that they see. They're not participating. They're not sticking to the code of, hey, we're all police officers. What I do out here is just between you and me. It's part of the old boy network and this and that. So the ones that do say something, they getting ostracized, and who knows what else? They could be getting threats about on their life and stuff. So you really at this point, I just don't see giving these people billions or more dollars just to keep killing people left and right. It is not a week go by where you don't have a police shooting an unarmed black person in this country. It's not. I can tell you because I'm seeing it every day on the site. It's not one week goes by where some unarmed black person hasn't got shot. Go ahead, BK. I know you had your hand up.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. They're gonna they're doing this police. They're trying to meet up with African and African Caribbean community leaders and representatives in the many boroughs in England and stuff. And they're saying like, oh, we're gonna meet. We should meet up with the Metropolitan Police to discuss police brutality and that. And really nothing ever comes from it either. And they're trying to discuss, they're trying to release some sort of settlement saying like, oh, we're gonna, don't worry, we'll reform the police, because that's what's going on as well. They're talking about reform the police over and over again. and nothing's really coming of it. And they were saying, and like I noticed, like the more they say this reform the police stuff, the worse it gets. It just seems like they're getting tighter and tighter because they're starting to break. I don't know if you've heard about, like, they've been taking us, they've been literally forcing us out of our homes, and putting us on planes to the Caribbean or to Rwanda. As of right now, everybody's going to Rwanda right now, and these people have been. We haven't even. Some of us are native here. Some of us, well, not native, but like we've been living here for decades, and we're being taken away from our homes now, and just straight out of our beds. And it seems like they're getting more and more militarized, and obviously the whole just the whole part of the reform thing is trying to recruit black people to join the police more, and that didn't really help because I saw a video about a brother who jumped off the bridge right underneath the River Thames in London, and he was from Nigeria, and he kept he had like a screwdriver in his hand, and the police just walked up to him. There was one white one, and there was one black guy, and they tased him multiple times, and the brother was just rolling on the floor in pain, to the point where he had to jump off the bridge, and sadly he ended up passing away. And I don't know how you can just have belong to a black family and then just do that to your own people like that. I don't really understand that. But anyway, yeah, putting black people in the police is not going to change anything. They're only going to get indoctrinated into that culture, into that white supremacist culture more, and they're going to start trying to impress their white race soldier friends as well. I think that's a part of it as well. It's not going to change.
Go ahead, Ray. I appreciate that, BK. I'm going to come back to you in a second because I want to ask you that you're saying that they're just taking citizens over there in the UK and putting them on planes and pretty much and just kicking them out the country.
Yeah, that's been going on for ages. They've been doing that since the early 60s, about Windrush, and they're basically saying, they basically let the Windrush generation come in. They basically handed a boat over to them and said, come over here and work, and they trapped them over there, and they forced them to rebuild the neighborhoods during World War II, because a lot of neighborhoods were being bombed, placed in these neighborhoods that were bombed, and with no compensation or anything like that. And they're basically still classifying us as immigrants, even though we have passports, and they just and they're it doesn't matter if you came here on the boat to Windrush, they're still gonna try and find some way to take you back, but they're not going to take us all back. They're not going to take away the 2 million of us that remain in this nation. They can't. We won't let that happen.
I don't blame you, man. Y'all were born there. I mean, y'all citizens, and it sounds like the treatment you get is pretty much almost like the treatment we're getting over here in this country here, except they're not just loading us up on, well, for the most part, they're not just loading us up on boats and just kicking us out.
They can't.
But yeah.
This is our country.
I agree.
They need to stay in their country too.
Well, he's in the UK, but what he's saying is that the people in the UK are putting them and taking them and sending them to the Caribbean and Africa and different places. Pretty much the police are just shoving them left and right, treating them almost like how they treat black people over here. Not to the level that they treat black people, but that they're pretty bad. We were talking about police brutality, and we're talking about a black man drowning, and his wife was threatened when she tried to go in there and save him. We were talking about a black man who was killed in the county jail by police officers, and his family got a $3 million lawsuit, but the officers themselves were not charged, and nothing came nothing came of it. And he's just telling us about also the brutality and the racism and white supremacy that because he's in the UK, what he's facing today. So um, it's a global white supremacy is a global factory. I mean, it's just not here in the United States of America. It was like I say, it was perfected here. It was actually originated in Europe, but it was perfected and taken to a whole nother level, another craft in the United States. Fresh, did you have something that you wanted to add and say?
Yes, I'm sorry I came in the room. It's just I just came from Black Authority room, and
I was there earlier too, and it was packed over there.
I'm a little triggered with a lot of this B1 mess. I'm for B1, but with all that we have going on, it's hard for us to be Black first with everyone. You know, they were. You know, I don't want to bring a lot of what my issues was over there in that room, but the nuances, even with his story, is that we're in our country, and so immigration is an issue, and I'm pretty sure immigration is an issue for a lot of countries, and we know, you know, our other Black brothers and sisters from the diaspora, or in their countries, they're having distinctions too, and their countries are being destabilized. But so far as European countries allowing them in, that's not something I feel like that's not a Black first issue. You, I believe that immigrants or Black immigrants need to stay in their own country and fight so that they can acquire the necessary, you know, laws and protections that they need in their own countries for their own countries to thrive. If everybody's leaving, um, it keeps the countries destabilized, you know. And Black Americans, we're not leaving our country, trying to migrate into other countries and beating the doors down, like let us in. I mean, we just never have. I don't know if sometime, you know, in the future, if that will ever be, you know, our plight or something that we have to face. But comparing the two, it's just not the same. And I think that's where a lot of my frustration come in at. It's like Black immigrants come to this country and they organize with each other. They, you know, they shop with each other. They don't hire us in their jobs, right? So a lot of times our dollar don't circulate in our community because it's being outsourced because of all of the immigrants that's in our community, and that don't benefit Black America. In fact, it harms our communities. And so this B1 thing is just kind of it's not going to be effective because Black immigrants are still immigrants and they operate like immigrants in this country. Not only that, they bring a lot of the anti-Black sentiments that they have in their own country along with them, and you know they perpetuate white stereotypes by white racist tropes that, you know, they use propaganda against us by saying like we're lazy and we don't want to work, and you know, immigrants come to this country to do jobs that we don't want to do. All those disingenuous things, just falsified information, and they perpetuate those issues. So I think that's where a lot of my frustration is coming in with this B1 stuff, is that every Black person is not being harmed, but Black Americans are. So That's where
I know you because I know I was in the space earlier too. I would have stayed there longer if I didn't have my own Twitter space, but I was in the space earlier, so I know that the D1 conversation was going on, and I could tell a lot of people was getting pissed in there because I read some of the comments on Twitter and stuff. Some people were even pissed with Jason tonight, I guess. But I had a question I want to ask you because you didn't catch quite the beginning of it. So, like I said, we were talking about, and the title is "A Cop Watches a Black Man Drown While Threatening His Wife." But we believe that these people were homeless, and you had a black man and his wife, and they got into some kind of argument. Police were called. Nobody knows anything about any violence, anything like that occurring. The black man he wasn't under arrest. He decides to go ahead and leave. Like I said, the police hadn't arrested him. He decided to go ahead and leave. He climbs over a fence and he goes into a lake. Next thing you know, he's having trouble swimming. He's asking the police, "Hey, I need some help. I need some help." And the police basically tell him to F off. We're not going to help you. So then the wife says, "Well, hey, let me go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and help." And they say, "Well, if you go and help him, we're going to detain you. We're going to arrest you." The man ends up drowning in front of the wife or the girlfriend or whatever she is. She says she was his wife. We don't know if legally she's his wife or girlfriend. So he ends up drowning in front of her. You got three cops on the scene. They do nothing to try to intervene, try to help this man. He drowns in front of the woman. The woman can't assist him because if she does, she's going to be arrested. So, in your personal opinion, and I know you kind of fired up. That's why I'm asking you this. What do you feel just about the little summary that I gave you? This happened in Tempe, Arizona, and like I say, based on what they were saying, they had some kind of little issue. We don't know anything about any physical violence, anything occurring between the two. The police officers don't arrest the man. They don't arrest the woman. They found out that he had some warrants, but he still wasn't under arrest. The man climbs over the fence. They let him go. He gets in the water. He's having trouble swimming. He's asking for help. He's pleading, "Please, please, please," and nobody does anything, and he ends up drowning. So, just in your personal opinion, what do you feel about the situation? Just by me summing that up to you.
I feel the same way I feel about all of the incidents from Buffalo, from the pregnant woman being shot in Tulsa. Um, it's we need protection, and so we have to push for reparations. We have to push for tangibles, and there is an Black American hate bill petition that's going around. We need to get that signed. We just at this point, I've been hearing about incidents like this all my life. It's I was literally I live not too far from the George Floyd incident. Like Dante, right? I mean, it's Philando Castleton. Like it's just so many, and the police have always either had their hands in it or allowed something to happen. So how do you prioritize any of them? Right? These we're just victims of white supremacy, and a lot of it has to do with our history in this country. And so, however, what we need to do to protect ourselves and put ourselves in a better position so that we can handle these issues better. So we need that hate crime bill so that we can start to build systems, and we don't just need a hate crime bill. We need economic advances with that, just like the Asian hate bill. They got, I don't know exactly how many millions they got. I think it was 3 million they got along with the Asian hate bill. We need the same thing so that we can start building systems around this and dealing with these white supremacy people. And whether if that was them losing qualified immunity, we can see that that's not happening. But whatever we need to do, to protect our communities, that's just what we need to do. These instances are going to continue to happen. I have tons that I can recite right now. So, how do you prioritize them?
You make an excellent point, and that's why I wanted you to go ahead because I know you're kind of hot coming from Jason's Twitter space. So I figured we go ahead and put that in motion to use. We also had another story we talked about where we had a man that was detained in a North Carolina jail. He ends up getting killed. His family gets a $3 million lawsuit. None of the officers or the court or the jail or the county is charged. They pretty much say that we'll give you the money because they only charge the nurse. They end up charging the nurse saying that they did a George Floyd to him, choked him out basically with the foot on the throat or whatever for 17, 18 minutes. He ends up dying. He's telling them he can't breathe. He ends up, his family ends up getting a $3 million lawsuit, which his kids are going to get, but a lot of good that's going to do for them because their dad is dead thanks to these people here. They killed him in jail. So now the kids are without a father, and $3 million is nice and everything, but everybody would still like to have their father. They put all of the blame on the nurse. They're saying that the nurse didn't do her job. So the officers get off, the jailhouse gets off, the county gets off. So there's really no justice whatsoever. So these are the type of stories that we want to go ahead and as painful as they are, and I agree with you because I see this kind of stuff because I curate news. I see it every day on a daily basis. I can't keep up with the amount of black men and black people that's been killed by law enforcement and the police officers. So I just wanted to go ahead and while you guys, I know some of you guys were coming in late. I just want to go ahead and just let you guys get up to date on what we've been discussing, and I just wanted to hit different people's views and whatnot. And Ray, I promise I'm gonna get back to you. I'm just gonna let somebody else say something, but I'm gonna get back to you. Leon, you got your hand up.
All right, thanks, Tyler, man. It's like the third time in one of your speeches, but I'm gonna try to get to more, man. Sometimes there's too many things going around, and tonight was one of them. With Black Story. But anyway, the topic. I just saw something earlier about this. Now, I know that they were what the hell, whatever the fraternal order who was trying to save the cop. Partial said they did save the cop, saying that when his brother was drowning. Did they ever? Because I saw some videos of it. Did they even ever reported to EMS or the fire department for the rescue team to go out and get him? Because I never saw the video for that.
You talk about with the brother drowning and the cops not doing anything, just letting him drown.
Yes,
On that part, I'm not entirely sure. I know you had 3 cops on the scene, and like I say, the wife tried to intervene. The wife or girlfriend, whatever she is, it's not really clear because she had a different last name. But the wife, the girlfriend, she tried to intervene, and they told her, "Hey, if you try to help out or whatever, basically, we're gonna detain you. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do that." So that part to me made no sense. They set up that a man pleaded for his life. He told him he was drowning, and nobody went out there to lend a hand. One cop straight up and told him, "I'm not coming to get you." Another one told him to reach out for the pylon. So these guys basically sat on their ass and didn't do anything while this man died in front of them and in front of the woman.
that's messed up, man. Yeah, man. These race soldiers, man. They're playing for keeps. It's time for us to start rethinking our approach to things now. We're not going to be able to go to them. We're not going to be able to call for them. Anybody that does or do think, you could reach out to the boys in blue to help you. Sadly mistaken, because now they're out for blood, straight up. They're going to do anything and everything to undermine us or kill us. Because it's almost like, I know I don't want to veer off too much of the topic, but this does touch on to the topic. You know how we be talking about, protecting our rights with what's going to happen one day if I have to use it to save myself, and then next thing you know, I got the cops coming up to me. So you know, first thing they're going to do is shoot and ask questions later. So it's like, A, throw the gun or what? Or B, you're going to have a shootout in the OK Corral. And that's something like, I really have to think about now.
Hey, you got to do what you got to do, man. If your life is at stake, I mean, I know nobody wants to get in a shootout with no cops, definitely, but you're licensed, you're legal to carry a firearm, and you have the right to defend yourself. So if somebody's threatening your life and you feel like your life is in danger, then you definitely have the right to go ahead and defend yourself. And like I said, it's better, like the old saying goes, it's better to be judged by 12 than be carried out by 6. So go ahead and do what you got to do to survive. I wouldn't even hesitate. I mean, self-preservation says me or you. I'm picking me every day of the week. So I mean, it's not even no ifs, ands, and buts about that one there. And I don't know what and like I say, and it was another story too. That, like I said, I don't know if you guys saw that in the news. You had this couple. A black woman was dating a white man. I think he was an ex-cop. He ends up killing her, and now they're talking about her kids about to get some settlement or something for that. So I mean, it's just whacked out, man. It's just bizarre. Every time you look around, somebody getting whacked by the cops. I mean, he also had this ex-FBI agent, and he was talking about the white supremacy in the actual bureau. And he said that those threats that they get with Buffalo and stuff, they get them all the time, and the bureau does not take it serious. They don't investigate it for the most part. They don't give a rat's ass. They know about this stuff going on, and they're just sitting there idle while people are plotting all kind of terrorist type moves against black people. So if you have an ex FBI agent coming out saying this, and then you had an ex FBI agent saying that the the, the law enforcement here in the United States is just saturated with white supremacists. I mean, these are the people that we have to call on to come and defend us, and these are supposed to be the people that's going to protect our rights and this and that and all this other stuff. But how are these people going to protect you or defend you when deep down inside they loathe you, they hate you, they wish you would get killed for the most part? So it's one of those things that you can't really depend on these people, and then you can't sit up there pumping billions of dollars into their agency, talking about giving them some BS training that these people aren't fit to be police officers from day one. If you was to do like some real evaluations of these people right here, how many of these people would actually pass? Half of them are psychopaths, deep down racists. I mean, and criminals themselves. They're no better than the people they out here arresting. So how in the hell you gonna be up here talking about you in law enforcement? You're no better. Ray, I'm gonna get right back to you. We're gonna let Christian Hammer go ahead, and then you got it next, Ray.
Yo, I oftentimes, review a lot of these different incidents that go on with black people. And I talk to a lot of foreigners and my Mexican homie and just different people, And a lot of times I break down the incident, whatever it may be, for years and years, but I leave out the racial component and I explain it to them, and they go, and it doesn't make any sense, like how the whole thing went down. It doesn't make any sense, the outcome or whatever, the judicial portion of it, or what the cops did and how the outcome was. It never really makes any sense. And at the end, then we go ahead and put in the racial component, and it's like, oh, well, why didn't you lead with that? Because that's like the only thing that explains why the hell this whole thing is so wacky, with all these different incidents that go on. It's a constant. So there's this a high racism factor inside the country, and it's undeniable. Yet we have a justice system that loves to ignore the racial component of everything and try to pretend like it's not as it is, like it doesn't exist. But even with that being said, this particular incident with the guy drowning, I also find myself being a dissenter a lot of times. I see a black person gets involved with something, and a lot of black folks take their side. I don't immediately take their side. I kind of keep it logical. I kind of keep it factual. I don't automatically take the black guy's side. And in this particular situation with the black guy drowning, I lean more towards the cop side of and what they did, as opposed to just automatically jumping to the black guy's side and saying that the brother was right and he should have been saved by the cops. So I know, people would like to argue, people would like to have things to say, and check me on that. I get it, and I don't mind listening to that and firing back. No doubt, I think it's a healthy discussion, but I'll say right now, I don't automatically think that the cops should have topped in that water and saved that man. And I'm going to land it there for the moment. But go ahead, please.
No, I mean, you're entitled to your opinion. My thing is this, though. We see many times that we've seen shootouts and we've seen Dylan Roofs and people like that they go in there and they just straight up lay waste to people and just murder people. And I've seen incidents online where people are physically beating the crap out of cops and fighting cops and running their cars into cop cars and this and that. And these people, a lot of times, these people, white people, I mean, they're taken alive. Now, I don't know why they're taken alive, but they are. And my incident, my thing, they said even this kid the one that went up there in Buffalo and threatened to blow his brains out, but they end up taking him alive. And Dylan Roof, they took him to Burger King after
Don't forget the White House.
Yeah, the White House, and now because we got the Proud Boys and then all these other people. So I get what you're saying. Like I said, here everybody's allowed. I mean, that's fair. Go ahead and share your opinion or whatever. My personal thing was this here is that if you're supposed to be a cop and you're sitting up there and you're saying that somebody's telling you that they're drowning, this and that, hey, that comes with the territory. You're supposed to be like the firefighters. You're supposed to run into that burning building. That's what you paid for. I mean, you are.
I'm not exactly sure if that's what cops are paid for when it comes to that, or run into the burning building, or jumping into the lake. I'm not sure if that's what they paid for. Now they are paid hazard pay to run into that school and take care of those children and save those children. They're supposed to protect lives first and save lives first. They are paid hazard pay to run into that school, but I'm not sure if they're paid hazard pay to run into traffic or run into a burning building or jump into a lake, necessarily. They may be. Now, is there something else they could have done? Yeah, they could have broke off a branch and threw it in there and say, a big, branch, done something and say, hey, man, go ahead and grab that so you can stay afloat. Or here's a floaty of some kind of flotation device. God damn. You would think so. I mean, even if you got to blow up a pair of pants and tie them at both ends, and throw them in there as sort of a makeshift flotation device, and allow him hold on to that until he can float to the door. But why should have been allowed to up in there and save him? No, one of the cops really should have done it, but I don't know if they should be held criminally liable as a result. Now they should have called paramedics or EMS or someone or firefighter, somebody to come out there. That should have been done on their radio. If that wasn't done, then that is a level of negligence that was that they engaged in, it seems. But as far as them just jumping in and saving that man, it's a bit of a slippery slope. I don't think they necessarily have to do that. And I think the rationale for them and their minds for not, is they were pissed off because the guy was being a smartass. They didn't like that. So they was like, well, we're not gonna save you since you was being a smartass. He wasn't supposed to be hopping in that water in the first place, but they was being a spinner who's smartass about it, trying to be cute, and he would have been arrested after they put him anyway, because you can't do that, but he did. And old girl, she should have jumped in there and took the ticket or took the arrest.
Well,
sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do.
They told old girl that she better not go out there. She was gonna be detained, so. She was ready to go into the water and try to save her himself, but they told her that, hey, you're going to be detained if you go out there. So she couldn't go out there, or she risked possibly being arrested.
You got to do it. She got to take that. I mean, it's just what it is. Yeah, I guess you got to arrest me then, because I'm not going to let him drown and die. And the judge would probably be more sympathetic to her. So she would have to just go ahead and take. Sometimes that's an L you got to take. You might have to it's like having a firearm in your home, and you might have to blast somebody on your front lawn, or you might have to blast something, and they didn't quite step in the house yet, so you already know it could be some legal troubles. But it was either that, or they were gonna get in your home and do real bad things. So you might have to take that small L as a result, because the laws are wacky like that.
But I'm kind of confused because you judged them from a moral perspective when you talked about there's nothing morally about them jumping in the river or the lake to get the guy because he shouldn't have gotten in there, right? But then when he told you about the woman who tried to go in there and they did not permit her to go in there. In fact, they threatened her if she was going to. Where does that? How do you define that type of behavior? Because you spoke morally about how they don't have any right or authority. They shouldn't have to go in there to do that. Because of his actions or whatever, right? But then once we talk, yeah. So where
well,
does
I guess
judge
I suppose I'm looking at it from a perspective of I'm looking at it from a perspective of a burning building. That is a direct danger to the police officer. And so he doesn't, if you decide to run into the burning building after they're telling you don't do it, am I free to go? Well, I'm just going to run into this burning building and go and cut as a shortcut. And okay, you ran in there. Now you're like, help. I'm not sure. I don't know, but I'm not sure if they're required to go do that. Now, if she wants to go into that burning building and save him, then you can't. This is off limits, ma'am. But so if you do that, we're going to have to arrest you or detain you or charge you or this or that. Well, if she wants to stay back, that's her business. But if she wants to run in there, she's going to have to take that charge. It's the same thing with that water, with that river, that lake, whatever he jumped into.
Why would they say that? You judge them from a moral perspective when you said that they don't have to go into that water because he shouldn't have went in there. For whatever reason, they didn't have a moral reason to go in there to save this person, because it puts their life it's not like they don't have to run into a burning building to save someone. Okay, that's questionable too, but to prohibit someone else to go in there from saving him, whether or not if she decided to take the charge, why would they even charge her if she basically took that upon herself to go save someone?
Legally, he's not supposed to jump inside that river and swim away. He was allowed to leave, but he was not. None of us are allowed to just jump in the river and start swimming willy nilly. You just can't do that. So she's going to get a ticket when they catch up to him. The same with her. She's going to get a ticket if she jumps into that water. The same with the bystander. They're going to get a ticket or be detained if they jump into that water.
To save someone. She was going in there just to save
Even to save someone. Even to save someone, you're still going to get that ticket or maybe be jailed. Now, the judge is going to have to deal with that later. So that's a charge you're going to have to take and deal with later. So the judge is going to deal with that. So, but you're still going to have to take that charge because that is his job to give you that ticket. He saw what happened, and he's supposed to ticket you for that.
Correct to you.
What's morally correct for them not to get in the water or to get the ticket?
Him getting in the water is one thing, but once you see someone drowning, even if they shoot someone, they are required to perform CPR. They're required to take some type of action to save this person's life. So they made that choice. Okay, we're not jumping in the water, but to prohibit someone else from saving someone, you're framing it to where it leaves that part out, that morality part.
I don't think that they grabbed her and told her, we're detaining you. You cannot jump in. They told her, if you do get in there, you're going to have to take the charge that comes with it.
Why, when she's trying to save someone's life? She's not jumping.
Even if she's going to save his life.
From the cops. She didn't commit a crime. She's saving someone's life. I wish
so she should have jumped in there and took the charge then.
Yeah, but I mean, at that time, I'm sure she's probably hysterical. She's panicking. Plus, the cops are telling her, hey, if you go in there, you're going to be arrested too. So I mean, you gotta think of it from her perspective. She sees a man that she loves. He's drowning. The cops telling them we not going in there, and they telling them that you're not going in there either. And if you go in there, you're gonna probably be arrested. So you kind of, I mean, you can't. Can you really fault her for it? I mean, I wouldn't fault her for it. I mean, she doesn't know what to do. I mean, in a situation like that, how many of us would panic? We see the person we love drowning. We got law enforcement, 3 of them, men. Now this is a woman, and she's out there with 2, 3 men. So, I mean, 2, 3 white men at that, and they're telling them like, "Hey, you ain't going nowhere. You're not gonna get in here." So I can imagine that she probably froze up, didn't know what to do, was hysterical, was panicking, and then to get to see the man that she loved drowns and dies right before her eyes. So it had to be somewhere. I mean, to say that it was troubling and upsetting, would be the least of all things to say. I mean, it really, I mean, it was something else. Ray, I'm coming back to you. I promise. Let me let Lee go ahead and speak on it, and then you guys, Ray, fresh, and then you guys can start going back again. So I want to just let everybody who hasn't spoke go ahead and speak. Go ahead and unmute your mic, Aunt.
How y'all doing?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm fine. I'm gonna make this really quick. I really don't feel good, so I just been trying to be in the background. I really didn't want to say nothing, but I'm my blood is boiling right now, so I had to say something because Lord Jesus, common sense is not common, and I'm trying not to be disrespectful, but oh my God, I don't understand how people don't have the moral compass and the common sense to know that when you're an officer of the court, as an officer of the court, as a person who took the oath and who worked in law enforcement for 9 years, who has a criminal justice degree, the police officers are supposed to render aid. I don't care how mad, quote unquote, they are that somebody did something that upset them. They are not supposed to put their personal getting mad because whatever. What you have to understand about this situation is, oh, well, he could have just got a ticket. Who cares about a ticket when it's a life? They literally was showing on the news police officers and firefighters who removed the drain and get some damn ducklings because the ducklings fell in there, but they let a human being. It's like you have to value life. And I don't want to say that you don't value life. I don't want to say that you don't have the common sense that God gave fruit fly, but life needs to be valued. And if you put on the badge and your job is to protect and serve, no matter how mad you are at a situation because somebody did something that you don't think they should have did, because when you're in a situation as a black person in this country who's seen the police officer kill black people and go unscathed with it, with no punitive damage, you don't know the fear that man was, the anxiety that man was going through when he had the incident with the cops when the cops let him go. It may not have been the best decision because I have the mental health background for him to get in the water. That may not be, but it may have been for him to escape. But because of the anxiety of dealing with the police who have been killing black people and getting away with it, and like Tover said, just getting the little settlements for these lives. Him jumping, oh, well, he shouldn't have jumped in the water. Well, he deal with a ticket. Are you fucking kidding me? Excuse my French. But it doesn't make sense. Even if he was in the water, they were supposed to render aid. That is their job, whether they like it or not. And if they didn't like their job, they shouldn't have showed up for work that day. And for them to threaten somebody else who possibly was going to save somebody is bullcrap. As a person, again, I don't want to get my personal lawsuit because I'm suing these bastards because I know how they do whatever they want to do and how they lie, but that is an abuse of power. That is official misconduct. You have a duty to act. That is the whole purpose of the taxpayers paying your salary, for you to act. Whether you was mad about the fact that he went in the water and you didn't want him to go in the water, the police officers were supposed to go in the water and get him. And they were not supposed to stop somebody else. Where the hell? Who in the hell? Then we haven't well, we don't know if he should have saved. Are you okay? I don't understand. I don't know what your mental health background is, but I feel like maybe it's a chair and stuff for somebody's future. But for you not to value life, to not believe that a police officer is not to save somebody's life, you must assume that their only responsibility and job is for them to take life. Because even like the person who said before me, God bless her soul, because I was sitting here like throwing fists. The police, even if they shoot somebody, they are supposed to render aid. That is their job. So if the fact that they didn't like the fact that he went in the water, you don't know what type of anxiety that person was going through after dealing with 3 police. As a person who worked in law enforcement, mother was a correction officer, I was a probation officer, I get anxiety when I see them bastards. Because I know what they want to do to me and people like me. The anxiety of having my big black husband go to work every day and come home and being pulled over by the police. So for you to say, well, he shouldn't have gotten the water, what the fuck? And what that had to do with the price of being in China? They still should have helped him. Whether they were, well, they was a little peed off, so they shouldn't have went to work that day. They should have rendered aid and should have gave him, like you say, a ticket. They should have gave him a ticket after if they didn't like the fact he got in the water. But to sit there and watch another person lose their life for no reason at all, you have to be some type of, I don't want to say lunatic, for somebody to be okay with that. And that's not like, do you understand they have Good Samaritan laws where if you are a regular person, you are given authority where you have to help and render aid? So how the hell do people have Good Samaritan laws where they have to render aid, but the police who being paid to don't have to? They literally have laws with that.
That's a nurse, a doctor, you are right.
Even if you're not even a nurse or doctor, if you're a regular average person and if you are a regular average person and you see something and you don't say something, you could be charged in some jurisdictions. That is a fact. As I was a probation officer for 9 years. Well, you saw somebody doing something, why didn't you do something? It's Good Samaritan laws. Now, nurses, yes, they have to act, but regular people are given authority where if they see somebody, they have to render aid. So why wouldn't a police officer have to render aid to somebody because they were mad because they went in the water when they told them not to go in the water? That's first. I just want to get that off my chest. The second thing I want to get on my chest, I see all the laws in regards to the Black Crime Bill and the things of that nature. And what I want to say is I don't agree necessarily with any of the laws being pushed through by Congress. And I just want to implore people to really, really think about when you're asking Congress to do anything for you, because since in the history of this country, since 1619, the U.S. government has done nothing for Black people. And when Black people went to them, i.e., give you an example, with the drug laws and said, look, we got these drugs in our community, we got these guns with the crime bill, and we asked them to, quote unquote, help the Black community or help the inner cities. They helped, all right? They helped put our Black asses, our fathers, our uncles in prison with these drug laws, and that's all I think of, and that's what I get scared of, because I know their mentality, and they're going to take these laws supposedly to help us, and we're going to be the one charged with it. These anti-Asian hate, the hate crime hate, the Black people are going to be charged with these laws because they're going to figure out a way for them to screw us. So I really believe that we as a people need to get together and figure out what we can do. And that's why I love the Black Panthers, because they was the solution to the problem. They didn't ask the government for a mother fudge thing. They did it themselves, for themselves, by themselves. They created the breakfast program. They created protection, and that's what we need to do. We don't need to go to the government asking for anything because we already know they're not going to give it to us. They don't give it. Yes, we could ask and we could do this. I guarantee. We need to start doing it for ourselves. Because again, I'm suing an entire branch of government and federal court, and these people don't care. Their only thing to do when I come after them with what was right and how they broke their policies is for them to target me like the mob. That was their only response for me holding them accountable to their rules and their regulations. They don't give a hell about my truth. They just care about shutting me up and not getting out what they did. So to ask these people to make some laws to protect people that the Constitution wasn't never written to protect in the first place, no, they're just going to find loopholes in it to keep abusing. We need to create our own. We need to create some well-trained militias, Second Amendment, well-trained militias. We need to create some resources. It's a Black Cross that I believe that they created in Texas or in Houston after some floods. We need to start creating things on our own, doing for ourselves. It's enough money in Black people for us to put our money together to be our own banks and start helping ourselves. We should be able to buy houses. We should be able to loan people money and do different things for ourselves and not ask the government, who their sole purpose is to keep us enslaved. They fought a whole civil war to end slavery, and the only thing they did was transform it. What makes you a slave? They fought a whole war power to get rid of slavery, and they said, okay, you can't be a slave no more except if you're guilty of a crime. And then they made everything black criminal. And now we're expecting these people, hey, wait a minute, mass incarceration, all these other problems we got, but we need you to help because these white people, they don't give a fuck about white people killing us. They happy they're killing us. We got to care about them killing us. Okay, I let my...
No, you're right on the...
That was a great job.
Right on the money. Right on the money. Yeah, no, but I'm gonna land it.
Leon,
okay,
hold on.
I'll put my hand up. I'll put my hand back up. I'm sorry.
Yeah, because Ray been waiting for a minute, so let Ray go ahead, and then we can go ahead and let you, and then we'll let Truth go ahead.
So I can't even lie, family. I think I've been waiting so long. I think I forgot what I was gonna say. but I just, for the people that came in late, I just wanted to let you guys know that legally the police do not have a right. Legally, let me just read like this. The Supreme Court has made it clear that law enforcement agencies are not required to provide protection to the citizens. What was the case? The Shaney versus Waco and Town of Castle Rock versus Gonzalez. The Supreme Court has already ruled that police agencies are not obligated to provide protection of citizens. In other words, police are well within their rights to pick and choose when to intervene to protect the lives and properties of others, even when the threat is apparent. And again, that's the Shaney versus Winnebago and Town of Castle Rock versus Arkansas. Versus Gonzalez. And way back.
Get one of those DJ Clue bombs.
Real quick, I wanted to mention something about Tyler was talking about qualified immunity like 30 minutes ago. I wanted to throw this in there. Dick Gregory back in the day, he made a good point. I guess no one really brought up in his face. The police really don't have anything to lose. If you give them something to lose, then that'll go away. He was an advocate of letting the children of police go to school for free. That way, if they decide to act up, that's something that can be pulled from them. Obviously, he was talking about cameras everywhere. He was talking about basically making the police get liability insurance. If they have any incidents, the liability could be pulled along with their pension and other stuff like that. So when you give these people things to lose, and obviously, they're gonna start acting right. And somebody, I believe it was Brother Christian, that was saying, and if I got it wrong, I'm sorry. Somebody said, and I agree. My wife, she gave birth to 3 children from me. If I see her in that lake drowning, and the worst thing you're gonna do is give me a ticket, I'm jumping in that fucking lake and I'm saving my wife. Because now, if I sit around and I let her drown because I listened to the police, now I have to deal with the mental fatigue of knowing that I didn't do anything to save my wife and I'm her husband. I'm not gonna live with that. I'll take that ticket. I'll take that night in jail any day of the week. I'm not letting my wife drown. That's stupid.
No doubt. Like I say, the only thing I look at is like, I don't know what the woman, you just sometimes don't know people's mental state. I don't know what she was thinking, what she was going through. And the fact that, Ray, that you are a man too. And that's it. That's what part of being a man is about. We're going to go out there and we're more prone to risk our lives than a woman is over us. That's just the way we built.
You could have children at home, all kinds of things.
So that's just the way we're built. That's the way we are. It's how it is. Whenever a disaster comes, the first thing they tell us is, men, make sure the women and the children are out of here, because hey, we're expected to die for the family, And I just don't know her mental state, like with what went on that night. I don't know how she felt. I don't, I just don't know what happened. 2-3 police officers right there, and they're telling you.
That's what I was gonna say. If anything, she was more scared. There's 2 or 3 police officers, and like everyone has said, you shooting black people left and right. But I'm not gonna let my wife sit there and drown. That's just me. Damn the ticket. I can put me in jail. I mean, that's the worst you can do. All right, I'll pay the fine.
No, I don't blame you one bit. I mean, please, I'm not gonna let anybody in my family just drown like that. I mean, you're gonna have to. I don't care who it is. Like, please, I'm going in there. Like I said, I just don't know her mental state and just what she was going through that night. But it was just a horrible thing, man. And like I said, the fact that the fact I personally feel they should have went their butt out there and they should have got him, or they should have told him when he got ready to start climbing over that fence, like, hey man, get your ass down. And they didn't. They let him climb over the fence. They let him get into the water, and then when he got in the water and he couldn't make it, they let him drown.
And one last thing, because I have to go to bed, so I'm gonna get off after this. Actually, I feel like it's very, because I am an EMT. I spent time as a firefighter for years, and when you see someone get shot, obviously they're struggling to breathe, and the fact that the police are getting on top of them, giving them CPR, isn't helping them at that point.
No doubt, man. Like I said, it's just an unfortunate situation. It's just totally unfortunate, and it's something that could have been prevented. I'm not saying that the guy had any business getting up there, climbing over the fence, and getting in the lake. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying once he got in there, or before he got in there, he should have been stopped. They should be like, no, get your ass down. You're not going anywhere. We're up here. We had to come out here for a situation. We're going to find out exactly what's going on. Don't move. Any other time, they tell a black person that. So I have a problem with that whole situation, how it went down and how he was able to actually maneuver and move around and do this and do that. And then it ended up costing him his life.
Yeah. And I want to add this in too, because a lot of people didn't see this. But the same exact police department that let a black man drown saved a damn dog. I was hoping that would be in the Jumbotron by now, but yeah, they saved the dog. They put him up for adoption, all this stuff, and they made a big fuss about it. But the same police department in I believe, what was it, Arizona? They let a man drown, but didn't save the dog. So are y'all afraid or not? Are y'all just picking and choosing when y'all want to be police? Obviously, they are.
Must be.
What is the logical explanation for them prohibiting the woman? Like, why prohibit her? If it was her choice, she wasn't under arrest, was she, News? Or was she being detained? Or, like, what was the prohibit? What is a logical reason for them to stop her? Or to
probably I'm white and I say so. I don't care what you say. If I see my wife in that river drowning, I'm jumping in there. I don't give a damn.
No, I'm not saying that you should listen. What I'm saying is, what is a logical explanation for them even threatening to give her any penalty for trying to save them?
There is no logical explanation. I agree. It's dumb. I wouldn't have listened.
Yeah, at this point, I didn't see anything that they said. What was the reason why she couldn't go in there or not? I mean, I haven't seen it in the report I saw from the Atlantic Black Star. I didn't see anything about it. I have no idea why she could not go in there. I have absolutely no idea why she was told not to. That's something that, like anything else, is going to come out later on. Well, the cops going to have their version. Well, we told her because we were in fear that she could have got drowned too, and this. So I have no idea.
Well, I'd have been like, well, y'all weren't doing anything, so what was I supposed to do? That's the thing. They can just say whatever they want to say, and the public just goes along with it. And I want to say this really quick about brother Dick Gregory. He made a video a long time ago, and he talked about, have you ever noticed that you never see a black cop shoot a white person 50 times? But you can always, I ain't gonna say always, but then you'll see it on occasion where a white cop will just shoot a black person just 50 times, just unload clip after clip, magazine after magazine after magazine. Why is that? Is the white cop better trained than the white cop, or or vice versa? No, that they know that if that happens to a white person, and white people are gonna stand for, you unload 50 rounds on somebody. If they shouldn't accept it, neither should we.
Hey, agree on that, Ray, real quick. Hey, Tyler, just check your Twitter DM real quick, brother. Agree 100% though, Ray, but go ahead, bro.
Oh yeah, I agree with what Ray said. Ray, I know you said that you're about to leave. I'm gonna go ahead and let Leon go ahead and chime in. If you got last thing you want to say before you bounce, that's cool. If not, then I'll be holding the space tomorrow. I know tonight was kind of on the slow side because we had Jason doing this thing tonight. But if you got anything you want to say before you leave, go ahead.
No, well, just I wanted to say goodbye. Thank you for letting me speak. Good night to the family, and I'll see you guys on the next one.
All right, man. Appreciate you coming through. Thank you.
Good night, Ray.
Leon, go ahead and unmute your mic. Leon and Truth, you're next, okay?
All right. Thanks again. Those race soldiers, man, they know the value of life. They just don't know the value of black life, and they don't care about black lives. Let's make that first one more. I don't know what the status quo is now as far as black lives, because nothing's being said, obviously, as in they ain't do shit in Buffalo. I can't even say, I'm not even going to say anything about the one in Texas because that had nothing to do with us. But that's those other white cosplayers. Let them deal with their own problems. We got our own problems to deal with right now. But on that note, yeah, man, another great speech by you, man. You won them all, man. Definitely being there, man. Shout out to you, man. That's the end.
Definitely, man. I appreciate it. And I try to catch you guys space when I can and whatnot. Sometimes my schedule, I'm just not able to. But definitely, even with a small space, man, as long as we still, I'm all about that information. As long as we can go ahead and still get the conversation and get the information flowing, that's what I'm here for. So I definitely appreciate you chiming in. And always, when you come in, you're always giving us some great information that we can makes us think about stuff. So definitely appreciate that. Truth, go ahead and unmute your mic. Truth, are you there? Can you unmute your mic?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, I definitely agreed with everything Lai said. But one thing I wanted to touch on is why is everybody not bringing up the fact that Arizona is one of the most racist police departments that there is? I don't know if you remember back when that couple and they had their little kids with them, and they said she stole a Barbie doll and all that stuff that went down then, and how all those Facebook groups and racist groups and all these Arizona police officers were involved in it and in these groups. And the other thing is, when you have lawless people, usually there's some kind of mental illness going on. And so those cops, they were watching a movie that day and sitting back with a pretend popcorn. That's what that was about.
Well, you know, Arizona been one of the most racist states. They weren't they the last state to actually institute to go ahead and make Martin Luther King a holiday?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So they always been a redneck state.
Mm-hmm.
But like Ray said, that they were willing to go out there and save a damn dog's life, but they're not willing to go out there and save a black person's life. So that's pretty much all.
That's why I said that was.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
That's why I said I think this was entertainment for them. That was just entertainment that day.
And then, like I say, I know everybody's like with the woman, and like I'm sorry, I just can't blame. And you know, me and Ray, we raised my boy, but I just can't blame this lady. I just can't say, well, why she didn't go out there and do this anyway. And she's up here. You got a woman up here with 2-3 police officers, men. Okay, who's to say that she would have ran herself out there and they would have yanked her by her damn hair and drug her down? I just can't say that. Like, I mean, with the way, I mean, it's not only black men. Of course, we're the ones getting killed the most out here. But let's not act like they won't put a bullet in a black woman too now, or they won't beat the crap out of a black woman.
Yes.
You got them up here slamming teenage girls down on the damn concrete. So I mean, come on, what are you gonna do to a grown woman? They'll tell it straight up. Well, you know, we gave her an order. She didn't command with the order, so we had to forcibly grab her. And I mean,
right. And let's not forget that there's unspoken code with white men. I don't know if you remember the Kroger shooting that happened at the grocery store, and he came upon a white man with a gun, and the gunman gonna say to him, "White men don't kill white men." And just like in the Buffalo shooting, it was also alleged that he came upon a white person, and the white person started screaming and blah blah blah. And he apologized to him and continued on his way to look for his prey.
Yeah, I mean, like they have a code like that. What was it? The one in Orlando too a few years ago when they went to the gay club and well, this might have been an Arab that did this shooting that time because I think the Arab came across a black dude and he was like, and he decided not to kill a black person because he talked about that he was being discriminated against just like him too. But yeah, man, like I said, I just personally as a man, I can't fault this sister. Who knows what the hell she's going through? She just saw her boyfriend, husband drown in front of her. Her last few words that she was telling the police officer and stuff like that. What was she telling them? She was like, he drowned because you wouldn't help him. He drowned because you wouldn't help him. Like, I don't know. I know as a man, of course, we're gonna go in there. You see your wife, you see your kids, you see your mom, you see any family member up there drowning in front of you. Yeah, you're gonna jump in there. You're gonna go. But like I say, at the same time too, I don't know. You got a woman here with three men. Not she's not out there with two women and maybe a man or something like that. So I can't really fault this sister for that.
A woman will also make a choice depending on whether or not she has children at home too, and that could very much be a factor.
And let's also not forget the woman could have been in complete shock as well. Like sometimes you in shock and your body you can't move. Like so I don't blame that woman. I blame those three cops. One of the cops straight out told him that he wasn't going in there. The other cop told him to reach out for something. It was supposed to be three cops, but I don't know what happened to the third one. So they weren't all that keen on trying to rescue this man. They probably felt he shouldn't have went in that water. They didn't stop him from climbing that fence. They didn't stop him from getting in the water. They asked him what you doing. He said, "I'm not under arrest." They didn't say you're not under arrest, but you're not going anywhere like they normally tell somebody. So
I thought legally they were. If you ask that, they are required to tell you that, or whether or not if you were detained. If they have to tell you whether or not if you're being detained. If you're not, then they have to let you go.
now, Aunt La, she's an expert on the law enforcement. She would know. She would definitely be the one to ask. Like I said, she was dropping some knowledge there and whatnot. So I couldn't tell you. Like I say, I don't think the woman even knew that she was detained until they told her, like, if you go into that water, you'll be detained. So it doesn't seem like she was detained to the point that she was trying to get ready to go rescue the man. And they told her, well, hey, if you go out there, you're gonna be detained. And another thing, what kind of man tells a woman some garbage like that? You see somebody drowning and dying in front of you, and you telling a woman basically, if you try to go in and attempt, not that you're gonna save him, but if you go out there and even try to attempt to save this man, we're gonna detain your ass. I mean, what kind of crap is that? What kind of man would actually say some shit like that, fix his mouth to say something like that? You go out there and even attempt to try. I mean, really, like you even attempt to go save this man that you love, we're going to detain you. You better not, because we're not going to go out there and we're not going to try to save him, but you're not either. So, I mean, like I say, to me, between this and between the brother in North Carolina being choked out and being killed by five people, and then it being covered up by the county jail, by the correction officers and the police and all this other stuff, and they giving his family $3 million, but at the same time, no charges are going to be filed against any of the people that took this man's life. It's just ridiculous, and it's just the criminal justice system. Don't tell me that this thing doesn't need a reform. It needs to be actually burnt down to the ground and rebuilt because it was based off of straight up racism and white supremacy. Like, go ahead and unmute your mic.
I was just gonna say I agree everything you're saying 100% about these racist systems and what they do and the reason why they gave the money. And if you ever see that happen and you see a settlement really quick, is because when you do a settlement, you have to sign an NDA and they don't want you to talk about it. And you can't say anything disparaging about the police department. That's why with Breonna Taylor, her family got that $12 million, but you haven't heard anything about the people saying, okay, like the fact that the prosecutor in the case didn't even bring up the fact that these officers killed her. They brought up the fact that, and it was supposed to be some more investigation, because even the people who were in the grand jury were saying we was never even brought that we could even bring charges against this person. But the family can't advocate for more charges. The family can't advocate because once you sign a settlement, you cannot make any disparaging statements regarding the police department. So a lot of times people don't understand when these police departments do these settlements in these municipalities, they do the settlement not because, they're guilty as hell, but they don't want to go through the trial, but they don't want you to talk about it, and they don't want it in the media. With my case, I got the interrogatories and I got the discovery. And the fourth question they asked me, and I'm accusing these people of being the Grand Wizards of KKK. The fourth question they asked me is, who of you had a conversation with about this matter? The date, time, and location of the conversations. My response, everybody and their mother. I done had a conversation with everybody I see in a supermarket, Target, CVS, and anywhere else. Because you want to know, you want to cap your liability with me talking about what you did to me. And that's where a lot of times people understand. Sometimes with these settlements, and I even reached out to the attorney that Judge Joe Brown told me to, because he doesn't settle. A lot of times with these settlements, those are negotiations that are done to keep you quiet. And they don't want you to talk about the abuses. And the family can't advocate no more. The family can't go out and say, this is what's happening to me. That is what's happening to me. And what I learned about the system, and I'm putting it in my book will be out in a month. What I learned about the system, what people have to realize is the system is designed to make you a slave. We have to really start changing how we see the police department and the courts and the Department of Corrections. Because it's cognitive dissonance, but it's my speech, my braces. But it's also the fact that it's gaslighting, because we sit there and say, "Oh, they're supposed to protect and serve, they're supposed to help." No, the police job is to make you a slave. That's why when they do things that's unfair treatment, they get away with it. Because if you look at the Constitution, the 13th Amendment, you are a slave except punishment for a crime. And that's why you don't see them, like you see a shooting in a school and the cops don't run in it. Like the police, and then they say, oh, black people, black community need police more than any other community. No, we don't. They sit there and say, yeah, because if you have a crime, black people can't even go to the police because they got somebody missing. How many times is the black person going to the police and the police say they can't even help them with their situations? But then at the same time, they'll tell you and they'll brainwash you and say, you know what? Y'all need the police. Y'all need the police. I just feel as though we need to start, once you understand the game you're playing, once you understand what's going on with the situation, because it's laid out, ain't nothing changed. They're not changing with anything they're doing. They're doing it out in the open. They letting us know what situation it is. We play dumb. Well, know what we still call the cops. Stop calling the police. Like if you call the police on somebody in 2022, it's honestly, and if it's not a life or death situation, and I would say even in the life or death situation, call the fire department. Because somebody breaking in your house, say you got a fire, you smell gas, and they'll send the fire department quick before they send the police, because the police, they're killing us. But we have to understand what they're doing to us, because they're doing it out in the open. They're doing it with impunity. Nothing is being done about it. And we're saying, okay, what can we do to solve? We have to create our own solutions to this problem. We can't look to them for anything. And that's one reason why I feel like I was born in the wrong decade, because with Dr. King in them day, they just did. They created the bus boycott. They created stuff that happened, like, together as a people. They created things. And I understand that a lot of these organizations now have sold us out. And black people have little faith in these organizations for black people because of we've seen, them sell us out. But we have to literally be the change we want to see, and we can't go to them, because if we get something in the bill, I guarantee it's not going to be for our benefit, and they're going to use it against us. Because even the child laws with welfare, oh, this is to protect the child because this child is abuse in the home. All they do is they steal black kids. Then now you can have a homosexual adopted kid and all, you have white people adopting kids and killing them and mistreating our kids. But again, these child laws were created to help because we needed help with these kids. So I don't know. I would just warn people to be very, very cautious about asking the same people who are enslaving us, who are in our faces, broad daylight on TV. The media is being blanket to where you don't even hear some of this stuff. I don't know what some state somebody in, but I'm in Jersey, but you don't even hear about all these things. Like, I didn't hear about the thing in North Carolina, about all these things that's going on because we don't own any media platforms. Back in the day, in the 70s and the 60s, they owned radio. You had Petey Green, you had that voice. We have no voice right now. We don't even own radio stations. Nothing. So a lot of stuff with getting us out there, and that's why I appreciate and I try to donate anytime I can donate to support the Newstoter, because we do need our voice in something. But with that, our voice, and again, a lot of things are being done that's on the underground level. And I'm not saying nothing is being done, but with this black bill that people are going to Congress for, I would think who are the people in Congress who are really going to help us? Because they have also turned their back on us. We need to just create what we need to create, do what needs to be done, and then, execute. I land my plane.
Yeah, you're definitely right. We got to do it ourselves. And like I say, I definitely, I support you. Whatever we can do here at Newstoter. You got my email. Go ahead and email me anytime you need to, DM me or whatever. Whatever we can do, especially try to bring some exposure to your situation and whatnot in your fight. We down for it. So just let me know whatever you need or whatever, and we here. So we got love for you. Um, audio, audio. I'm sorry, not misspell your name, but you go ahead and unmute your mic.
All right, yeah. Peace to the family. Audio Cyrus, if you want to. Most people just say audio. It's all good. Peace to everybody. What Aunt Lai was saying, I was mentioning that just the one little piece I wanted to touch on. I was in a space not too long ago, and we were all talking about alternative means of getting help. When it comes to if we're reaching out to these organizations, these institutions or what have you. Instead of calling the cops, yeah, you can call the fire department, things of that nature. But I just wanted to add this one piece because when Elijah Cummings, the young kid, when they brought him, when they got him kind of hemmed up, they brought out the paramedics and shit, but they're the ones who gave him, this high dosage of ketamine, which eventually ended up killing him. You know what I'm saying? So there's still like a level of mistrust that we can't really escape from. You see what I'm saying? We call the paramedics, we call the fire department, there's things of that nature. But like ultimately, if we can't resolve the situation, there needs to be something that's implemented by and for us to protect us before we have to deal with their system. If we're going to continue to deal with their system, like she said, we're going to eventually always be participating in the slavery system, period, whether it's on paperwork, whether they we call them out for one thing and they haul you away for something else. You know what I'm saying? They're always going to find a way to infiltrate the situation and turn it into what they want it into. You see what I'm saying? So there needs to be something, not only grassroots, but there needs to be legal protections behind it. Like we need to have something in our own communities where we have resources for all these situations, whether it's child abuse, whether it's, you know what I'm saying, neglect in the home, what have you, domestic abuse, what have you. Like these situations can be de-escalated and people can be separated and, get counseling and all this stuff before anyone gets penalized, thrown into the system, kids taken away, the whole nine, and everybody's now being, split apart the same way they did in slavery. They do it with all of their systems. They're continuing the same pattern. So, there needs to be some sort of real like conscientious effort on a national scale to really employ all of the type of people that we need, psychologists, psychiatrists, mental health experts, what have you, and I think folks were talking about the like having like like an FBA, like a what do you call it? Like a not a phone book, but you know what I'm saying, like a resource center where everybody's businesses, all
the
these
green book.
Green,
green book before,
something to that effect.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, to where we know who to call for these services in our cities, in our communities, before we have to call them other folk. You know what I'm saying? And I'll land it there just to to piggyback on Live's points. Hey, Audio Iris, hold on a second, real quick. Hey, Audio Iris. So that's why we're also trying to migrate back to the South. To just to your point too. That's what brother Black Majority State is talking about, and brother Homeland and State Power and all that. To try to migrate back to where our ancestors came from, and what you call it, North and South Carolina, Georgia, Maryland, obviously Virginia. You know what I mean? And go back to those places so we could congregate around each other and not even have to worry about even dealing with these folks, to keep it real.
It's called a Southern strategy. Is that what you're referring to?
Yeah. Well, I'm not saying that's what they call it, but I just say the brother Black Majority State. You know what I mean? But I think that is it too, though. Yeah. And interesting too is the European Americans, they have their own idea of this. This is called the Northwestern Initiative or the Northwestern Movement, where they all been moving to the Northwest, taking over, where they have gun laws in their favor, this sort of thing. So yeah, there's nothing wrong with us doing the same thing historically to be where we belong. I mean, my folks come from Pensacola, Florida, and then somewhere in Louisiana. You know what I mean? And I'm sure I got folks in Texas and all that in between. And it would make more sense for us to be around a stronger hold of ourselves and each other, to where we can actually, combat this shit equally. You know what I'm saying? I think Truth Be Told had their hand up. Hey, 1 second, real quick. Hey, Tyler. Hey, hold on. Before y'all go ahead. Hey, before you even say anything, Tyler, I need to stop the recording on my side and bring it up. Could you give me like 20 seconds? Just 20 seconds, y'all. 20 seconds. Okay. 20 seconds, because I'm live recording over here for us, so we could start sharing it with other people. Hold on 1 second. Okay. Okay, we should be good now. Go ahead, brother. I just wanted to say, Fresh, before the Twitter space closed, because we're gonna probably let Truth go ahead and say something. Anybody wants to say it after that, we're gonna get ready to close it out. But Fresh, go ahead and follow me. Audio, I followed you back. Fresh, go ahead and follow me if you like black-owned news media. And Newstoter is definitely somebody you want to follow. So go ahead and follow me. Once this space closes, I'll go ahead and I'll follow you back. And we're trying to get to the point we're gonna have 3-4 Twitter spaces a week. So this is our smallest Twitter space ever right here tonight. And I guess because we ran into Jason Black, I knew Jason was pissed off when I saw the little title about the B1 thing. I already knew because I heard some other cats talking about that earlier today. I'm like, I knew he was going to be on, but I didn't know he was going to be on this long. So it definitely, a lot of people that would have came in this space definitely was over there. So, but yeah, this is definitely our smallest space. I think our space yesterday had something like 200 or something. Between the actual live people and this and that, it had something like 200 and some people in it. So we definitely, this is our smallest space. But one thing, like I say, as long as we have good content and we have a good conversation going, that's fine with me. But Truth, go ahead and get ready to go ahead and we'll close it out shortly after you. And I want to thank Aunt Live, it looks like, for another Cash App donation. So thank you, Aunt Live. Once again, I appreciate it as always.
Where's the Cash App? I'm sorry.
No. Oh, the Cash App is in the Jumbotron. It's just $ Newstoter for anybody that wants to donate to black media, black owned media. It's $ Newstoter, or you can go to my profile and you see it, but it's just $ Newstoter. Hey, yeah, with that being said, Tyler, add on to what you said, you can also go to Tyler's profile and you'll see the little $ next at the top right-hand side of the profile. You click that, it will bring up the Cash App or Venmo or PayPal, depending on what it is. So you have a choice to send, and support Tyler which way you guys can. We appreciate it.
Just to go back on a couple of things that Aunt Lai said, especially about settlements and things of that nature. Most definitely, those clauses are in there. I call it a shut up clause in my settlement. And the only reason I went along with it is because it was a class action suit and I was outvoted. But there was like a $20,000 thing on it where if you said anything, then you would be penalized. So that is definitely true. But on the migrating back to southern towns, actually, I was born in South Carolina. I'm a Geechee, Charleston. Hey, but anyway, I'm from Oakland in the Bay Area, California. But we inherited property, a farm, and we moved back to the Carolinas. And I would encourage anybody who can to do that. There's so much rich history here as well. My grandkids, they come down for every summer, and I have. Last summer we taught them gun safety rules. This summer they're still going to be practicing gun safety rules, but they also are going to be learning how to shoot. We have our own shooting range on our property, and they know that it's for family and self protection because we can't be sitting ducks if they got all the guns. We can't be sitting ducks, and not to mention that I live across. Even though it would probably be like maybe a football field, my neighbor across from me flies Confederate and was flying a Trump flag. So, I just wanted, we also always made sure that, they heard firepower coming from over there. So if you decide to step, we protecting ours. But I also have, I think that we need to take our history back to our kids, the grandkids. Black history is disappearing, and this area here is so rich in it. Matter of fact, next week we have a field trip planned to the Roanoke River. I don't know if anybody's ever been there or heard of it, but it's one of the last standing that has some standing of the Underground Railroad and the path that they traveled through there. And I was telling somebody on another space when we were talking about it that when I was there, that roar of that river, knowing our ancestors traveled that on their way to freedom, I could actually hear them speaking in the roar of the water spiritually to me. I was asking my husband, I said, "You hear that?" He was like, "No, I think you on some other thing, but I do have a little thing. I was born with a veil, but I connect spiritually with a lot of things." And they have a museum for their age that we're taking them to. And during the summer, they're going to learn how to, like, for instance, today I'm going to put it up on my Twitter. They learned how to make fire without matches or anything of that nature. We're also going to do cooking outside. We're going to do camping, and we're also going to do survival training and cooking over coals. And so they have a museum that's geared towards their age group to show all the old school things as far as like washing your clothes and using the wringer thing to wash your clothes. We have that whole setup in case anything ever go down. But we're thinking about opening it up to do a weekend survival training. Being taught, my husband has a lot of background in firearms and things of that nature. But that's what we're thinking about doing is opening it up for weekend survival training for Black folks so they can catch up because we're already far behind. But yeah, that's what we're talking about doing.
That sounds like a damn good idea too, because we need all the survival instincts we can have right now. We need to be able to go ahead and be able to live off the grid, grow our own food, do our own clothes, we do everything. Yeah, so that's
chickens.
Oh yeah, that's a great idea. That's something that's positive. That's something that really can make an impact and really beneficial to us as a people right there. That's right now we depend too much on the grocery stores and we got away from being able to just live for ourselves and whatnot. So that's definitely a great idea there. DJ, I see you got your hand up.
Hey, sister, truth be told, what you call it? Do you got like a Facebook page? Are you promoting that? Trying to teach people how to grow food and stuff like that.
Actually, we trying to do word of mouth right now. I'm not trying to get other people up in the business, but you can always hit me up, and I guess what do you call it? Well, I do have Facebook page. It is private, but you can hit me a messenger, and it's under Jacqueline Bass.
Well, whenever you we on here on Twitter, whenever you want to DM me, just go ahead and DM me. If you want us to put something out, tweet something, to put something out, just let us know. We'll go ahead and we'll tweet it out. That's whenever you're ready now. But whenever you're ready and you're ready to roll, just let us know.
Yeah, because we're gonna be teaching all aspects of self protection. We also have like hatchet throwing, we have knife throwing, all that, archery, all that.
Right. Do you have some stuff that you could put in the jumbotron so people can see?
I don't think she has it right now.
No, I got a lot of pictures of different things that of our setups and things like that. But I don't know how to use the jumbotron.
Oh, okay, no problem. So with the way you use the jumbotron is you go to your picture, right, and you'll see the share button. Like this, it's the backwards triangle with the dots on it. If you're on a Twitter app, and then once you hit that, because you're a speaker here, once you hit that on the tweet that you're trying to tweet, you'll see this Newstoter space, and you can just press that, and it will go to the jumbotron. So you could go to all your tweets.
Can I just say that I'm not technology savvy. If you could put that, if you don't mind putting it, and send me a message with that information, I'll try to do that. But I'm gonna be posting some stuff of, especially like I said, them starting the fires tonight that we did today. And I do have some things on my page as far as our setup, as far as our shooting range and different things like that.
Right. So what you want to do is that anything that you tweeted, you want to go and bookmark it. And once you bookmark it, the next time we have a space, then you can go ahead and you can share it that way. DJ, go ahead and follow DJ, and he'll show you exactly how to do it. All you gotta do once you tweet something, and he'll show you exactly how to do it. For sure. And for the record, Tyler, you don't no longer have to bookmark anything. This is why I always talk, in the technology wave, truth be told. So definitely follow me. I teach people how to optimize their phones, Android, iPhone, whatever, so that way it works better. Because Twitter is having a lot of technical issues, as you see, with the spaces, because this technology we're using here is not new, but they're trying to embed it into the code of Twitter. So it's going to be some issues. And then, you may have a phone that's 2 or 3 years old, 5 years old. Ain't nothing wrong with it. Ain't broke, don't fix it, right? But unfortunately, it's old. It's the operating system, so you got to upgrade too. And not to say your phone old, because my old too is only 2 years old, but it ain't nothing wrong with it. But it's getting to the point I'm going to have to upgrade because you're not seeing certain things on the application if you got an old operating system. But we'll talk about that later, though.
Okay, yeah. I'm old school. I'm 64 years old, so a lot of that stuff, this new age stuff, I'm really not on top of that.
Okay, so now with that being said, right, because here's what I do. Would you be interested in getting your views together the whole day, like a Facebook space or a Zoom meeting to teach you guys how to use the computers and the cell phones better?
Oh, yeah.
So definitely. Get the tribe together and hit me on the phone and hit me in the DM. We'll exchange messages. See, I'm recording the live space over here, so I don't have to do it again later on. You feel me? So I can't do certain things, but I'm gonna hit you in the DM, okay? Right now.
Yes, thank you so much for that offer, because definitely I would love something like that. For sure.
Yeah, I see that's a real big issue. With our elders and older people, folks, especially in our Black community, Black American, ADOS, FBA, all that. So that's one thing I'm trying to garner and gather up right now is get all the technicians and let's go out here and do this technical teaching because the future is here. Web 3.0 is here. Web 3.0, mama. Look that up. That means you're going to really be seeing virtual reality for real.
Okay.
So we got to get our people ready for that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Thank you.
And on that note, guys, we're going to get ready to close out the Twitter space. Tomorrow, we're going to find out for sure. We're trying to see if we're going to have Judge Joe Brown back on here. We had him a couple weeks ago, in a Twitter space, and he's supposed to let me know tomorrow if he's available. If he is available, he will be on our Twitter space for Thursday. So we're crossing our fingers, hoping that we can get the judge back again. I feel confident if we can't get him this week, we'll definitely get him next week or so. But we're going to see if we can go ahead and get him again. This Thursday. And tomorrow we'll also be holding a Twitter space. I don't know what the subject is right now. I'm going to check the platform to see exactly what news is hot, what's trending, what's good, what'll make a good conversation. I think we had a pretty good conversation tonight based on the about the black man that drowned in front of his wife. We're going to try to find something else. And you guys, if you guys have any ideas about what you think might make a pretty good Twitter space, you can always DM me as well. If it's something that we think that we can get a nice little conversation going on, I'm all for it. Fresh, go ahead.
Sorry, I know you're trying to close out, but Judge Joe Brown, he had announced that he was running for mayor in Mason, and then he had made a statement maybe a couple days ago about in the meantime, while we're pushing, because reparations is going to take some time, there's some other tangible things that we could be doing. And so I was wondering if maybe we can explore what those tangibles are, or what some strategies we can take on our way to reparations or towards reparations. So yeah, I just want to see, give you some suggestions on what the title or what the subject could be.
One thing real quick about that.
Well, let me just chime in real quick. One thing about Judge Joe Brown, believe me, whatever topic you got, you're gonna end up covering about 5 or 6 with him on there. So, because we're gonna let you guys, if he's on there, you can ask him questions as well too. So, trust me, we may start off with a set group of questions or a topic, but trust me, it's gonna travel, it's gonna move. So we can ask him about the reparations, and because I think last time he talked about that as well. The conversation was on Juneteenth and the Democratic Party, and we covered DJ Atelier and Aunt Lie. We covered about 8-9 different topics. So yeah, anything that we can think of, you guys, like I said, you can think of, because you know the Twitter space only allows you to put so many characters in the title anyways. But anything that you guys think might be a catchy title, anything, or something worthwhile for any future spaces, go ahead and contact me, and we'll see about trying to put it into play. Definitely. I think Truth. Go ahead.
Yeah, I wanted to say real quick. One of the things that I'm puzzled about is why we don't have a party of our own. And I just tweeted something about this today with the Oprah Winfrey's and the Tyler Perry's, and did he try to do something during the election, which I think he was just trying to split some votes up and stuff like that. These people, if they got together, Jay-Z, Beyonce, all them got together, we could have a party like yesterday. And so I just don't understand. Pardon?
I'm sorry. Jay-Z is already working on a task force, and it's not looking good.
Who is?
Jay-Z. He's working on a task force.
Hey, hold on a second, first. Hold on a second. Hey, so big sister, truth be told, we cannot depend on these celebrities at all. They don't have our best
interest. We need to stop supporting them.
Yes,
we need to stop supporting them.
Yes, completely cut them off, like that family member that took something from them.
Exactly.
I'm serious.
Because that's what it feels like. That's exactly what it feels like.
I know you're trying to close Tyler is late.
I was going to tell you, that's one topic I thought about doing, like the Black Boule entertainment class. That's a topic that I wanted to cover, and I just trying to figure out when is a good time to
do that.
Hey, bro, with the way we record in these spaces, we could just do it whatever, whenever. You feel what I'm saying? So just to land my plane real quick. Yeah, but just to land my plane real quick, Sister To Be Told and Fresh. So, Fresh, you already know what it is, but, you know, when you think about Jay-Z, right, and Diddy, these people don't have our best interests at heart. So let's run down the numbers, and I'll be quick. Let's run down the numbers real quick. Get me out real fast.
Okay.
So let's talk about the Barclays over in Brooklyn. That place was the projects over there. It got uprooted because Jay-Z was the face of it, or so we thought, to say, hey, look, if we move out of this particular project, it's ran down, it's messed up anyway, we build this arena up, y'all be the ones to get the jobs. Well, hold up a minute. When you're talking about jobs for the black American in Brooklyn, or even just the black immigrant in Brooklyn, you know what I mean? They didn't get those jobs like that. The people that were from the neighborhood that got pushed out. Because when you think about a job at the Barclays, we're not talking about the janitor or the security person. We're talking about the lighting technician, the front of house, or FOH, which is front of house mixer, controlling the mix board for the entire arena of sound. Our people, not to say aren't skilled like that, but how many people within a project community got those type of skills? It's one out of every 100, whatever. You know what I'm saying? And the same thing is happening now over here in North New Jersey, where I'm from. The Lionsgate movie company is coming to North New Jersey. And guess where they're coming? In the old Seth Boyden projects. They just finally knocked it down after all these years. That shit was abandoned. You feel what I'm saying? So now Ross Baraka, he's the enemy of the people, man. That's clear. We call these outsiders that's coming into North Jersey, period, and just the United States, period, that's buying up all the land. They foreigners. That's buying up the land, yeah, and buying up all these houses and properties. They foreigners. They don't even live here in America. So, the mayor's selling out the people of North to who we call the LLC boys, man. LLC, Limited Liability Company. For those that don't know, that means it can't be touched. Can't even do anything about it. And now we getting reports of certain properties that we know are in the hood, and I'm looking at the property addresses. Oh snap! I used to live on the block. That's the block right there. You know what I'm saying? Certain houses that the city was supposed to, from what I'm understanding, I'm just make a quote. I could be wrong. But what I understand is to certain properties that the city's supposed to have purchased and was supposed to sell it back to the people for, at an auction fair price. But so far, it seems like it's all in the city of Newark's name. So therefore, meaning that you selling those properties to wherever you feel like at the highest bidder. You see what I'm saying? You ain't even letting it go for the normal city auction price to the people. The people don't even know about this stuff. So we get ostracized left or right. And just to land my plane on the Lionsgate thing that's coming to North, how many of our people, and I'm arguing with the people in my community, in the message boards, in the chat groups, how many of our people that you know right here, right now, got these skills to be the type of technician that is going to require for what this facility is coming here? We're talking film editors. There ain't a lot of us here. We're talking about our people need jobs, man. You feel what I'm saying? We ain't got no time to spend 30 years of your life like I have going to school for music and doing film just to be ostracized at places like NJ Pack. You know what I'm saying? Which is right here in my hood, North Symphony Hall. Talking about you need to be unionized. Ain't no goddamn union for no audio engineer. The AES Audio Engineers Society, that's just an organization that help you get, which I give them credit, they do help engineers. You know what I mean? But they're not a union. I yield there.
Alrighty, everybody. On that note, like I said, we're going to see exactly, I'm not exactly sure exactly what topic or subject we're going to be discussing. I got a couple in my head that I'm thinking about right now, but I'll go ahead sometime tomorrow and tweet it out. And then I also, Judge Joe Brown is going to be here Thursday. I'll probably go ahead and make a post about it and tweet that out as well, too. So I want to thank everybody who came out tonight to support the Twitter space. I want you guys to also support the website, Newstoter.com, the ultimate curator of Black news today in Black America. You guys, we are aggregating and curating news from over 25 Black-owned media sources. So please go out and support. You just make a visit to the site every day. Surf the site for a minute. We got all kind of content dealing from news, education, politics, sports, entertainment, lifestyle. Hell, you name it. We pretty much got it. We cover it all. And like I say, I appreciate you guys coming out. You guys are definitely a great audience tonight, and we definitely had a great conversation, and we shared a lot of great ideas, and everybody was passionate. And I appreciate you guys so much. DJ, also thank you for your contribution on Cash App as well, and thank you for all your services that you provide. And if you guys do need somebody technical, this is definitely the man that you want to talk to. He definitely holds it down, and he definitely will get you there. So once again, we will be here tomorrow night. We don't have to worry about the Black Authority having a huge Twitter space, but then maybe Tariq might come out tomorrow night too. So either way, we're gonna still do our thing because we're gonna be up here trying to get the content and we're trying to get the information spread. So some nights you're gonna have slow nights like you had tonight, but as long as the conversation is good, I'm with it. So thank you guys again for coming out and supporting this Black-owned media outlet. And I will see you guys tomorrow. God bless, and y'all take care.
Hey, Tarter, could you give me another 30 seconds so I could get the Temple police report that Ray was talking about, so I could just get it in the video or whatever. It's recording right now. Just give me about 10 more seconds. Yeah. You go ahead. You can cut it off right now, brother.
Okay.
All right.
Peace to everybody. Y'all take care.